Well, this is a bit exciting. Look at this. I've got some new equipment for my day job. I've got a ring light, I've got a microphone. I feel like a proper professional. I feel like a proper YouTuber. I'm sure that's all going to go down the drain when I start talking, but just go with it. I'm here for it. This is my first time filming with this new setup, and I've just filmed something for work, and I thought while it's all here, I'm going to film something for YouTube, and I haven't really planned this at all. We're going to see how it goes, but I thought we could talk about fundraising with a chronic illness. I'd like to think this is of interest to people because I know there are always quite a lot of projects that spring up, and I think they're really valuable to do. They can be such a fulfilling thing to do if you're dealing with a chronic illness or just in life really. Fundraising is the best. I'm biased, I've always loved fundraising, but I just think it's such a brilliant thing to do. To give you a little bit of background about me, in 2015 I started a fundraising social enterprise called Spoonie Survival Kits. We make little bags of happiness for chronically ill people as well as other bespoke items. We sell the kits online and we dispatch them to people all over the world, and a proportion of the sales income, not just the profits, the entire sales income, goes to chronic illness charities. So we'd pick one charity at a time and we'd cycle through. And to date, I'm filming this September 2020, and we've fundraised for 13 different causes. We've raised just over £7,000 and we've sent out over 1,000 kits to recipients all over the world. I think it's something like 16 different countries. And it's been such a fulfilling thing to do. It's honestly one of the highlights of my life. At the time of filming this, there are some big changes coming to Spoonie Survival Kits, which I will probably talk about more in a blog post, but I honestly believe that Spoonie Survival Kits was the leverage I needed to go on to do other things I did. It means so much to me, and the fact that other people get something out of it as well, it's just the best thing ever. So with all of that in mind, I thought I would share 5 quick tips, which I've just jotted down quickly, that I hope will be helpful if you're considering fundraising with a chronic illness, or if it's something that you're wanting to do and you're not sure how to get started. So I really hope these are helpful. The other thing I should say before we get started is that this is specifically tailored for chronic illness, because if you're anything like me, we're not going to be the type of people who can do a fundraising run. We can't run marathons, we can't climb mountains. And I think it's one of the unique challenges of doing this with a chronic illness. It does mean that you have to get a bit more creative, but personally I think that makes it all the more exciting. Not to sound too cheesy or anything. I feel like this is going to be a CBeebies presenter style video, but just roll with it, it's fine. My first and arguably the most important tip is to come up with an original idea. So you need something that's going to form the basis of everything else, and you need something that's going to set you apart from what's already out there. So as I mentioned before, there are lots of projects that go on in the chronic illness community, and I will say that a lot of them are very similar, and that's obviously for a good reason because people's hearts are in the right place. But you need to think about what's going to be different and unique to your idea. You need something that's going to cause people to look at your project in particular and feel the need to throw their support behind it, or donate, or get involved in some way to support your work and what you're doing. So really think about how you can, well, first of all, try and come up with an idea, and then really think about what is your USP, what's going to make it different to everything else that's already out there. Thinking about my own experiences in the early days, the thing about Spoonie Survival Kits is that there were lots of care packages for children in hospital, but there wasn't a great deal of programmes, I suppose, for people who were managing their chronic illnesses at home. So people who either didn't have illnesses severe enough to be in hospital, or were people who were too severely ill to be in hospital. So I wanted to do something that appealed to people at home and was accessible to them. And I also definitely wanted the charity fundraising element. So rather than giving these care packages out for free and asking for fundraising myself, I knew that I wanted to sell them so that everybody who wanted one could get one. They didn't have to apply. And also that a proportion of that money would be going to charities. And I always chose charities that would resonate with people. So that, combined with the Spoonie Survival Kits kind of statement, I feel that that was my own USP in Spoonie Survival Kits. Why do I feel like I'm pitching a business? What's going on here? Number 2, once you have your original idea, you need to come up with a clear plan of action. So once you've thought about what you want to do, it's really important to think about how you're going to sustain this and what is going to be your path to taking it from this idea into something that becomes a reality. It might actually be really useful to kind of consider it as if you're approaching a business plan. So think about your short-term aims, your medium-term aims, maybe your longer-term aims. If, of course, this is something that you do want to do over the long run. So I'm talking about this as if it's a project that you want to sustain over the long run, but it's equally as valid to do something that's just a short burst of fundraising. So consider your options, I suppose. Think about what you want to do and where you want to go with it, and then really set out how you're going to get there. Think about all the different elements you're going to have to consider, so like strategy, marketing, branding. And the important thing to say when you're coming up with a clear plan of action is that when you're dealing with a chronic illness, it's really important to think about how your own health and managing your own well-being will interact with what you're trying to do. That was a very vicious bird. So if you are planning on doing something in the longer term, it's really important to think about how you can balance that with your own health needs and any other commitments you have going on, because you don't want to be burning yourself out. You want to be thinking about what you can realistically manage over the longer term and sustain it. So you don't have to worry about really I know this is so much easier said than done because this is exactly what I did, but don't feel like you have to really throw yourself and really give everything and burn yourself out, making yourself poorly to kick off this project. Really think about whether you're going to be able to sustain it in the long term and really prioritise your health and work that into your plans. It's really important to be mindful of that, I think. With that in mind, one of the things I did for the first couple of years of Spoonie Survival Kits, I was burning myself out. And one of the things I found most difficult was the physical exertion of packaging up orders and taking them to the post office to be dispatched. So one of the changes I implemented further down the line was allowing a longer postage time. So I manage people's expectations by saying that it might take 2 to 3 weeks to get your parcel ready and to dispatch it, rather than trying to do it all the second it came in. And having a set postage day was something that personally really helped me. And like I say, it helped me to sustain everything in the longer term and balance things a bit better. So don't be afraid to make the changes you need to make this thing sustainable. Right, I've just realised that I've done number 2 and number 3 combined. So number 2 was to come up with a clear plan of action similar to a business plan, and number 3 was to factor in your health needs into that plan. So we've covered both of them. This is why you plan things before you start speaking. So you've come up with your idea, you've got your business plan, you've thought about how to make it work with your health needs. Point number 4 is to launch the project and celebrate it and enjoy that process, because there's nothing more exciting than announcing something you've been working on. If you have any kind of online audience, which a lot of the chronic illness community do, it can be really fun to open up and share that with your audience. Think about how the language you're using, how you can really explain what you're doing and why it matters and why people should support you, and make sure that people can support you and make that process accessible. So make it really easy for people to find what you're doing and throw their support behind it. And utilise your networks. So think about any existing contacts that you already have who might be interested in what you're doing. Perhaps come up with a press release if that's something that you're comfortable doing. So do what you can to spread the word about your project and really focus on targeting the people who you know might be interested and who might be in a position where they can help. So really think about these things and use your energy wisely. Again, you don't have to burn yourself out telling everybody and anybody. Instead, I think it's about making smart decisions about who you can tell, who might be the most influential person to tell or people to tell, because that can make all the difference. And that relates to my final point, which is to keep the momentum going, but please don't burn yourself out. So once you've had your launch, once things are hopefully up and running, do make plans for the future and think about how you can keep adding to what you're doing and reaching new people and encouraging new lines of support and following new lines of interest. But don't feel like you need to push yourself constantly and burn yourself out in order to keep things going. I'm very guilty of that. And I wish somebody had said to me, you don't need to be on it 24/7. You don't need to worry. People aren't just going to forget about what you're doing. It's not all going to be in vain. It's okay to take the time you need and to really focus on whatever you're going to do next or whatever you're going to do to further your project. Don't worry about constantly being on it 24/7, because at the end of the day, your health is the thing that's going to help you keep going in the longer term. And to be honest, looking after your health will make all of your quality of work better as well. Nobody does their best work when they're burned out and exhausted and their brain is like a ball of cotton wool. Not that I'm speaking from experience or anything. So yeah, those are just 5 quick tips to help you get started. If you are considering this line of work and you were perhaps feeling a bit overwhelmed, I really hope this helps you to at least start thinking about ideas and how you can manage them sustainably, especially with a chronic illness. And as I said earlier, this is actually a really strange time for us. So at the beginning of October, I'll be announcing something that's going to have huge implications for what we do. And if you do want to check out Spoonie Survival Kits in the meantime, if this goes up around October, please go to our social media to find out what's happening and what's occurring. You can find Spoonie Survival Kits on Etsy, just search Spoonie Survival Kits, or our website is www.spooniesurvivalkits.com. As I said, we make little bags of happiness for chronically ill people, and we also do sterling silver spoonie necklaces, and I'm hugely biased, but I personally think they're gorgeous. A large percentage of our all sales income goes to charity, and that percentage, oh, this is the first time I'm saying this. Shall I just say it? If this goes up after October, I might as well just say it. From October onwards, changes to the way we operate means that 100% of all of our sales income is going to go to a really deserving charity, and that's something that I'm really excited about. So if you're shopping for your Christmas presents or you just want to treat yourself to something, please go and have a look at Spoonie Survival Kits. The other thing I didn't say is that everybody who works on the project and everybody who volunteers has a chronic illness. I've never paid myself a wage from doing it in 5 years. It's very much about raising funds for charity and just spreading a bit of kindness, because goodness knows we all need it. So now we've got that massive plug out of the way. I'll leave links and stuff down below as well. But at the end of the day, I just really hope this video is helpful if you're considering fundraising. I cannot recommend it enough. It's had such a large bearing on my life and all of the things that have followed since I became chronically ill myself. It's such a rewarding thing to do, and it can really help you find your sense of purpose, which is something that is all the more important when you're dealing with any kind of fluctuating illness and the joys of that. And on that note, I think I will end this video here. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can subscribe if you want, and I will see you in my next video.